If you're seeing the Tinkercad Circuit Simulation Failed error, don't worry. In most cases, it's fixable in just a few minutes. In this video, I'll walk you through the most common causes, how to find the problem fast, and how to get your circuit running again without guessing. And if this tutorial helps, make sure to hit like and subscribe for more quick software fixes and step-by-step guides. First, let's talk about the most common reason for this error, and that is a short circuit. A short circuit usually happens when there is a direct path from power to ground without any component in between. In other words, the simulation is trying to push current through a path that should not exist. Tinkercad's engine sees that as an impossible wiring situation, and the backend solver can crash. To fix this, look carefully at your wiring. Check for any wires that may be connecting the positive rail directly to the ground rail. Also, look for places where a wire may have bypassed a resistor or LED. If you're building a simple LED circuit, for example, make sure the resistor is actually in the path and not sitting off to the side. A great troubleshooting trick is the battery test. If you have multiple batteries or power sources in the same circuit, disconnect all but one and try running the simulation again. This can help you quickly identify whether too much power input is causing the failure. Now, let's move on to the next common issue, and that's a code loop problem, especially if you're using Arduino or Microbit. If your code is doing too much at once, the simulation can lag, freeze, and eventually fail. One of the biggest causes here is a loop that never gives the system time to breathe. If your void loop is running non-stop without a delay, the browser may struggle to keep up. Try adding delay with 10, or another small delay to give the simulation a little breathing room. You should also check for infinite while loops. If your code keeps repeating inside a loop without ever breaking out, Tinkercad may stop the process because it's running too many cycles without updating the interface. So review your logic carefully, make sure every loop has a valid exit condition, and if needed, simplify your code to test one part at a time. A good practice is to run a basic sketch first, then slowly add more functionality until you find a line that triggers the error. The third thing to check is floating components. Sometimes a part looks connected, but the pin is not truly snapped into the breadboard. That can create a hidden wiring problem that causes the simulation to fail. To test this, click and drag each component gently. If the component moves but the wires do not move with it, that's a sign the connection was not properly made. Reseat the part and make sure every pin is fully aligned with the breadboard holes. This is also a good time to clean up your wiring colors. Use standard colors like red for power and black for ground. That makes it much easier to spot mistakes, especially when your circuit gets more complicated. Clear wiring habits can save you a lot of time and make debugging much faster. Next, let's look at stuck component scripts. Some complex parts in Tinkercad, like the 7-segment display or LCD modules, rely on custom background processes. Sometimes those scripts get stuck, and the simulation fails even if your wiring looks okay. In that case, the simplest fix is to delete the complex component and drag in a fresh one from the side panel. That resets the part and often clears the issue immediately. If that still doesn't work, try duplicating the project. Go back to your dashboard, click the gear icon on the project and choose duplicate. Then open the copy and test again. This can help reset the cloud simulation server tied to your project, which is sometimes all you need to get things working again. Finally, don't forget about browser memory. Tinkercad circuit simulations can be very CPU heavy, especially with larger builds and code-based projects. If your browser is overloaded, the simulation may fail simply because your system doesn't have enough resources available. Make sure hardware acceleration is turned on in your browser settings. In most browsers, you can find this under Settings, then System. Also, close any extra tabs you don't need. If you've got a bunch of tabs open, your browser may not have enough RAM left to handle the electrical math engine behind the simulation. So to quickly recap, check for short circuits, simplify your code, add delays, fix floating components, reset complex parts, duplicate the project if needed, and clear up browser memory. If you go through those steps one by one, you'll usually find the cause of the Tinkercad Circuit Simulation Failed error pretty fast. If this video helped you solve the problem, please hit the like button, subscribe for more Tinkercad tips and troubleshooting tutorials, and leave a comment if you want me to cover more common circuit simulation errors. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.